So just goes to show that nothing is what it seems sometimes, and even just reading a label and kind of taking in the ingredients and what the makeup of it is can be deceiving. Hey guys, Mila, the Hangry Woman here, and today I'm going to be doing a head-to-head comparison of 2 meal replacement shakes, one being Muniq and one being VEGA. I'm super excited to show you guys this shake comparison. We're gonna do some finger sticks today, a lot more than I normally do because normally I use a CGM, but I really wanted to do finger sticks as I feel like it's the most accurate representation of what your blood sugars are in the moment. And I also just wanted to show you how they affect my blood sugar and what happens when I try one versus the other. So I'm using them exactly as they're specified. I'm going to make them the exact same way. The only difference is that I'm going to be using one shake versus another. So I'm going to make them both with oat milk, not adding really anything else to it, making it with ice, drinking it at, you know, kind of like a regular pace, timing myself with that to make sure that I'm drinking them kind of at the same pace, not one faster than the other. And then we're gonna see what my blood sugars are like 2 hours after each one. So I think this is gonna be a really interesting comparison for you guys to see, and I'm really ready to get started in doing it. So let's go. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is my finger stick for the morning. Let me get the time for you. It's 10:52. So this is before me eating or anything. I'm still fasting technically. So I'm gonna get my blood sugar reading for my fasting reading with my meter. Right. So we have our test strip. I'm gonna stick that into our meter. And then I have my Lance device. Ooh, give me a lot of blood today. Good job. Give it a second. I'm at 139 for the morning. That is technically a little high for me. In the morning, I'm usually a little bit lower, so I, might have waited too long to eat this morning, but I'm going to start with Muniq as my first shake. I'm gonna go clean off my hand. So there's some blood happening here, and then we will get to actually making the shake and trying out that first one. Okay, so time to make this, and it's super easy for the Muniq. So we're kind of gonna go in order of liquids first, then solids, then powders. So I'm gonna start off with 8 ounces of oat milk. And I am personally using oat milk because I like it. It's creamier. You can also use almond milk or water, but oat milk is my drink of choice. So I'm just gonna pour that straight in to the 1 cup line, 8 ounces. Then I have 4 ounces of water because you wanna blend your Muniq with 12 ounces of liquid. I have an additional cup of ice. Always a little afraid that's gonna like pop out at me. And then I have my Muniq. I'm using vegan chocolate. That is my total favorite. It's the one that I always use. And you add in 2 scoops of vegan chocolate. So I will do my first scoop and then my second. And I add them in this order in the blender because you want to be sure that your powder mixes properly and that you don't get like surprise dry clumps, because that ends up being really gross and nobody wants that. So I always try to make sure everything is in there in the right order so that it can also blend properly. Just making sure this is completely secure. Cool. Done and done. So per the package instructions, you're supposed to enjoy this within 30 minutes of making it. So I'm gonna give this a good pour and then I'm going to sip on it. We know what my blood sugars are before. We'll revisit in about 2 hours after I finish my Muniq. There we go. So good. I have some extra for sipping. So once I get a little lower in this one, I'll add it to this cup, and then we will drink the full serving, which is 2 scoops, and we'll go from there. Went back to glasses so I could read and see, but reading you the nutrition facts for this, so there's 14 servings per container for 2 scoops. It's 180 calories, 6 total grams of fat, 0 grams of cholesterol, 200 milligrams of sodium, which is low, 42 total grams of carbohydrates with 15 grams of dietary fiber, 5 grams of soluble fiber, 0 total sugars, 0 added sugars, and 15 grams of protein. This is also sweetened with allulose, which can create a net carb effect. So even though it's, I think it said 42 total grams of carbohydrates, if you count net carbs with the allulose, you actually get 7 net grams of carbs. So, you know, overall, it's like really not too bad just in terms of the effect that it takes in your body. So I'm gonna go and drink this, and then I'll be back in 2 hours. It is, let's see, 11:08. So I will come back and let you guys know what my blood sugars are like. It's 2:02, so a little later than I originally wanted to show you guys my blood sugar numbers, just because I think it's gonna be really interesting. So it's been a little over 2 hours since I ate last, but hands are washed. We're gonna get our meter out. I have not eaten anything. All I have had was my Muniq shake. And so we're going to see how this goes. So, there we go. Got our reading, 3, 2, 1. Let's see what happens. It went down. So it went down to 103. It went down 30 points. And this has 42, right? Yeah, 42 total grams of carbs. And so I went from like 136-ish this morning, I think is what I showed you guys, to 103. I'll show you again so you know that I'm for real. So I think that's a really impressive result. I think that that says a lot for Muniq. It says a lot about what it can do to balance your blood sugars. I did not bolus when I took this. So normally I would take an insulin injection whenever I have something for mealtime, like anything, whatever I eat. I did not bolus for this time because I wanted to show you the true reading that I got after drinking it. I think that says a lot. I think that speaks for itself in a lot of ways, but we also have to do the comparison of VEGA to this to see how it stacks up and see what happens. So I think it'll be interesting to see what VEGA does. We'll go through the stats of that and everything as well. I think a super important part about Muniq is that it uses resistant starch to help with gut health, but also with blood sugar balance. So the resistant starch in this is really helping to steady and stabilize your blood glucose. But for some people like me, it actually lowers it, which I find really interesting. And I also stay full. I feel like really good. It tastes good to me. I love the vegan chocolate flavor. Like the other thing that I think is like really amazing about this is that I used non-sugar, like 0 sugar oat milk in this, which still has about 13 grams of carbohydrates. So the 13 plus the 42 is a lot more carbs than most people with diabetes like to have per meal, but that resistant starch is really helpful in balancing those things out. And so it's very cool and very interesting that I did not see a spike with my blood sugar, but I actually saw it coast downward. And it's also not a like a significant drop. I think that's the other thing that is really important. It's not like I crashed. It is a very steady lowering of my blood sugar over time. So I don't feel bad. I don't have a headache. I'm not like super hungry or irritable or anything like that, which I think again speaks a lot to Muniq and what Muniq can do. Some of the other things, it has 15 grams of high quality protein, 15 grams of prebiotic dietary fiber, 26 vitamins and minerals, and 4.5 grams of healthy fats. So you are getting a really well-rounded shake when you're drinking Muniq. So I think this is interesting, and I want to kind of do the test with VEGA because I want to see what that ends up being like for my blood sugars and how that ends up balancing out. So I'm gonna do the same thing tomorrow, but I actually want to give it some space. So I'm gonna do the same thing tomorrow. I'm going to drink VEGA as my breakfast, and then I'm gonna take it through the day and show you guys what this ends up doing for me. So I will be in a different outfit and I'll see you next time. And then we're gonna recap what happened with these, because so far I think it's pretty like solid to say that Muniq works very well. And from my finger sticks and my numbers, like that's a pretty good result. Okay, so it's day 2. It is the morning. I just got finished with my workout and it is 10:42 a.m. So we're going to make our second shake, which is VEGA protein and greens. Let's go through the nutrition facts because we did that with our Muniq bag. So the serving size is 1 scoop or 30 grams. I believe the serving size for Muniq is 2 scoops or 74.5 grams. So a little bit less on this one. It's 120 calories, 2.5 grams of total fat, 0 grams of cholesterol, 270 milligrams of sodium, which is a lot more, I think. I want to say the Muniq one is a bit less. Yeah, the Muniq one is only 200 milligrams. I have the bag over here. 4 total grams of carbohydrates, so a little bit lower than Muniq, and then 1 gram of dietary fiber, 1 gram of sugar, and 20 grams of protein. So this is more of a protein heavy drink. You know, we're gonna see what happens with this. This is also a plant-based version. So I used Muniq's plant-based, their vegan version. So we're comparing plant-based to plant-based, which is really good. And then we're just gonna dump it in and make a smoothie. Like I said yesterday, I'm making it in the exact same way. So we're using oat milk, ice, water, dumping in our protein, and then we're gonna drink that. And then we also need to test blood sugar. So I've got my blood sugar testing supplies here, and we're gonna do that and then see what this shake does. So let's see where I am. I just exercised. Sometimes I peak a little bit when I exercise, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with this shake and what it ends up doing to my glucose overall. All right, so we've got the stuff to do our blood glucose tests. Like I said yesterday, I'm into doing the glucose one because I think it's a little more accurate. This is all set up with my Lancet, and eep, scares me to do this sometimes. Okay, there we go. Drew some blood. It doesn't hurt, it just is always a little scary. So 3, 2, 1. Okay, so yeah, I'm a little higher than yesterday. I'm at 157, and like I said, I had just literally gotten done with a workout maybe 10 minutes ago. I always spike after workouts. It's like the adrenaline and cortisol that's released in your body. So I'm gonna go wipe my hand, get this blood off, and then we're going to make our drink and then see what it does to my blood glucose, if it brings it down at all, stays steady, stays the same, who knows. So we're gonna do this. It is currently 10:46, so we're gonna make this in just about a minute, and then I'll check in again at 11:12, about 12:46, almost 1 o'clock, and give you guys the download on what happened with my blood glucose and this shake. All right, so we have VEGA here. It was a little chunky coming out of the gate, so a little different texture-wise than Muniq's. It says to, let's see, it doesn't really give you instructions on how fast to drink it, which Muniq says to drink it within 30 minutes. So I'm gonna try and do the same for this one. Overall, I mean, it like smells good. We'll give it a taste. Taste is a little different, but that's okay. It's a vanilla version also, I think. So it's like vanilla and greens. Not my favorite in terms of flavor. I think Muniq, even the Muniq vanilla definitely takes the top prize, the check mark in the taste box. It doesn't have a super artificial tasting flavor, whereas the VEGA one does have a little bit of an aftertaste. Let's see, the sweetener in here looks to be stevia. I do get that. It's a little tiny bit bitter. It's sweet, but it's bitter. So yeah, I am going to take this, drink it. It is, we'll do a time check, it's 10:53 right now, just so you guys can see the time and the day, so you know that I'm telling you what's going on. And yeah, I'm gonna drink this. I will check back in around the 1 o'clock mark and give you guys an update about what my blood sugar looks like, and then give you kind of my overall pros and cons tallies of both in this head-to-head comparison of which one does what. So see you guys in a couple hours and we'll talk about it. All right guys, so 1:02 p.m. It is time for our glucose check. Getting this out of the way. Love it. I'm very interested in seeing what my blood sugar is doing, and I have a lot of thoughts after trying both of these out. Whew. Fast one. Okay, so my glucose went down to 136 with this one. So not a crazy decrease, went down about 18-ish points. With Muniq, it was a little bit different. My glucose had gone down way more. I had started around like 136, I believe, and then went down to, you know, nearly 100, which I think was a bigger decrease overall. So I think that's really interesting that Muniq actually lowered my blood glucose a little bit more, and the higher protein drink did not do the same. As a reminder, I made them the exact same way. So I used oat milk, 8 ounces of oat milk for each, 4 ounces of water, and 8 ounces of ice. And then I used whatever the serving size was for each one so that I could compare them. So this took my glucose down like just a little bit, but Muniq actually did a better job, I think, of lowering my glucose overall. Now, in comparison with the two of these, honestly, testing them side by side, making them the same exact way, Muniq wins on many fronts for me. So it wins on the amounts of vitamins and minerals that it has. It wins on its capability of actually lowering my blood glucose, which is truly surprising to me every time it happens. Taste-wise, I think it absolutely wins over this one. You know, this one's okay, but it has a very strong aftertaste with the sweetener that it uses. Muniq uses allulose, whereas this uses stevia, and so stevia can sometimes be a little bit bitter, and you have that definite like aftertaste on your tongue. I think that is something that I did not really like about the VEGA shake. I think the Muniq shake just tastes a whole lot better, and you can mix it in any sort of way you want. So you can use almond milk for it, you can use water, like do all water for it. I, like I said, love oat milk because it's like super creamy. It is extra carbs, but that didn't tend to affect my blood sugar when I was drinking Muniq. So that was also kind of a bonus in that, you know, it lowered my blood sugar a lot more than VEGA did, and I made it the same way. The other thing that's really interesting is that Muniq has far more total grams of carbohydrates, but it lowered my blood sugar more. So Muniq has 42 total grams of carbs, VEGA has 4 total grams of carbs, and yet I still had better blood sugar lowering capabilities with the Muniq yesterday than I did with the VEGA today. So I think that's really important also to acknowledge, is that sometimes we look at a carb count and we're like, oh my goodness, this is so many carbs, this is so much. But actually, when it has the right incorporation of ingredients and when it has the correct balance of ingredients, you can actually get away with more total carbs. And it ends up having like 7 net carbs, but it still lowered my blood sugar even better than the VEGA with the 4. One area where VEGA does win for me is that it has a little bit more protein. So where Muniq has 15 grams of total protein, VEGA has 20 grams of protein. So if you're looking for the extra protein, this one definitely wins on that front, but not by much. I'm super curious about what you guys think about this comparison, so be sure to leave a comment down below. I'll also leave my blog post with all of this information below so that you can check it out, you can read it, you can take it in. It'll have pictures, it'll have this video, everything that you need to make a decision about which way you want to go. But I will say that overall, I think Muniq was the way to go for me. It ended up lowering my blood sugar more. It tasted better to me. I actually didn't have like an insane glucose response to it. And what I thought was really interesting was that I did not exercise before I had Muniq. I did exercise before I had VEGA, and I still didn't get the blood sugar lowering ability and capabilities that I thought I would have gotten because of the exercise plus using this as a meal replacement. So just goes to show that nothing is what it seems sometimes, and even just reading a label and kind of taking in the ingredients and what the makeup of it is can be deceiving. So I think that's really interesting overall in testing this out. If you have any questions or if you're curious about anything else, please be sure to leave a comment down below, and I appreciate you guys watching. So thank you, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.